Hello, my beautiful stars. Thank you for being back here. This time I'm going to show you a different makeup technique. We're going to do a cut crease for a colorful Arabic makeup look. So let's get to it. So we're going to take surgical tape and we're going to put it the way I'm doing, following my lower lash line on both eyes. And the reason being is just because I don't want to spend too much time on other details. You're gonna see why. So now I am applying a white eyeshadow base, and I'm gonna even everything with my finger, my bare finger, okay? So just apply as much as you need and then even everything out with your bare finger. Now with a damped makeup sponge, the makeup sponge of your preference, you're just gonna remove the excess and even it out a little bit more. Okay, so here comes the tricky part. This is the main technique of this makeup look. This is a diagram technique, and you're gonna use an eye pencil to sketch your fake crease, your new fake crease. In my case, I have hooded eyes, so I have to draw a fake new crease right above my natural one, like you guys are seeing me do right now. Just take your time, take as long as you want to make it perfect, to go with your natural eye shape. And remember, we want to create like an elongated look and an extended look because it is an Arabic look. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm leaving that huge extension at the end. And just take your time to make it perfect and go with your natural curves and shape. And you just repeat that on the other side. Now I'm using a purple pencil because I wanted to make a purpley eyeshadow look. And then as you can see, I'm just taking my time making sure that both sides are pretty much even. Now you're gonna take a purple eyeshadow, a violet eyeshadow. As long as it is very pigmented, it doesn't matter which one it is, with a small blending brush, because we are working on a very small area and we need to focus on details here. Just pay attention to the detail. You're gonna go right above that line we just draw, and you're gonna blend the eyeshadow into the eyeliner and just work it out. Apply more pressure at the outside of the eye and less pressure at the inside of the eye. Okay, and of course you're gonna cover more area on the outside than on the inside. And remember that this is just one way, one technique to make a cut crease. There's a different one where you cut the crease right after you made all the eyeshadow work. You basically carve it out with eyeshadow base or concealer, And this one is more old school. I find it more effective for stage. And as you just watch me do on this eye, I took a bigger, more fluffy blending brush to apply a mid-tone pink over that purple eyeshadow that we applied on the crease, and this is to create that gradient effect for the blending work. And now we're gonna take some more purple or violet pigments. And the reason I'm using pigments this time is because, remember, purple eyeshadow is a little bit hard to achieve at the labs. They generally just don't transfer the same way. So sometimes we need to work directly with pigments to have a more saturated true color. So I'm just working again with the same detail blending brush. It is a smaller brush, it's a little bit more dense, and you just take your time to saturate with color that line, that crease, okay? And now we're gonna take the same bigger blending brush without any extra product, just to blend, okay, and to work the eyeshadow out. Now let's take a darker shade of purple, an aubergine kind of color, with an angle detail brush. And the reason being is because I want to make that line as precise as I can, only with eyeshadow. So remember to make the strokes in the direction of the angle of your brush, and as you're on it, you can still blend it out like I'm doing right now. Just don't focus only on a line, but just blend it upwards. So this is a basic eyeshadow work where we create more dimension into the look by adding depth, just using a darker color. Now we're basically gonna do the same thing, but this time using black. So take a pigmented black eyeshadow, the one of your preference, and just repeat the same step. Create more dimension by adding black into your crease. Remember, we are creating depth into the look, so just take your time, blend it very well, try to be very precise and round every line just to make it more natural. Just remember, we're still working with our features, so try to keep in mind always what suits best to you, to your eye shape, to your face shape, and work in base of that. Now we are blending with another blending precise brush, as you see me doing now. This one is a little bit more dense and packs more color, and that's the reason why I'm using it. Don't be scared that we are just emphasizing the black. Remember, this is stage makeup and we need it to be very intense. We're gonna take the same fluffy, bigger blending brush, this time with that purple pigment shade that we used before, just to intensify the look and blend everything together. So moving on to the fixed lid, we're gonna use some yellow and orange pigments, but not before we clean the eyeshadow base that we had. Remember, everything creased already because it's not set, and this way we use it also to clean any imperfection that we might left from before. So pack the yellow pigment with an eyeshadow brush, a flat eyeshadow brush. Remember, eyeshadow brushes are always fluffy. They're very different from the brush I just used to apply my eyeshadow base. That is a flat brush to apply cream products, but to apply powders, they're flat but always fluffy. Now on the inner corner, I'm using a Pearlized pigment, and this is just to make it a little bit more bright and apply texture. When we play with lights, using textures in the products is ideal because that way you reflect light better. Now we're gonna do the same thing I did on the other side, because I like to work with the same colors at once. I don't like to go one eye and then the other. So if I'm working with yellows, I like to go both eyes with the yellow. So I did the same thing. I applied the yellow pigment first, the yellow matte pigment first, and then the yellow Pearlized pigment on the inner corner. Now we're gonna use some shades of orange. Remember to remove any crease it might have happened while you were working with the other eyeshadows, and just basically apply your eyeshadow first, packing the color with patting motions, and then you can drag to cover everything and to blend a little bit. But we're gonna stop right there. I don't know if you can see a very visible line between the yellow and the orange, and we're gonna fix it. I'm using a deeper, more reddish orange on the outside, on the external side of my eye, and just blending it in with the other orange. And this is a very easy trick to blend eyeshadows. So you're gonna take a mid-tone shade in between those two. So in this case, a mid-tone orange to blend between the yellow and the orange that you used before. And you just pack it first with patting motions as if you were setting. Remember that we are basically setting that eyeshadow base, and then after you pat the product and pack it in, you can drag the color to blend everything together. We make sure everything is even, and then we move into the eyeliner. So I know the eyeliner is dreaded by everyone, even me sometimes. So that is the reason why I don't remove the tapes yet. Okay, it's because I don't want to pay attention to that detail. This makeup has already a lot of detail that I have to focus on. So I choose to leave the eyeliner just become present naturally when I remove the tape. So take your time to cover. I'm using a gel eyeliner, a gel black eyeliner, and I'm extending also my inner corners. And this is just to create that effect, to remove a little bit of roundness from my eyes and to make it a little bit more extended, to create that very beautiful elongated shape Arabics have. And of course you're gonna apply eyeliner in a very thin layer on the inside, on the internal corner of your eye, and on a very thick layer on the outside, on the external corner of your eye. And of course we're gonna create a wing, like a basic wing, very intense, very thick. Remember, again, this is stage makeup or makeup for stage, and we need to make things very noticeable and intense. And basically what we're doing here is just defining our eye shape, because on stage no one's gonna see your liner. They're just gonna see your shape, the eye shape. Okay, now after we applied the gel liner, we are gonna set it. Remember, we always set every cream product with a dry product on top. So in this case, a black eyeshadow. We use it to set the eyeliner. And we remove it and let the magic happen by itself. We don't have to worry about anything. We just unfold that perfect wing. Then we give our lashes a coat, a very good coat of mascara, just to remove any pigment that might have fall into the eyelashes, and create it like a dusty look. That is a no-no. That is horrible. So make sure you cover very well your eyelashes, and then you clean your under eye with some makeup remover on a cotton round. Clean it as much as you can. Make it as perfect as you want. Now let's move into foundation. Let's use a full coverage foundation, of course, and I like to use a shade lighter than my own skin. And this is because this helps me when I'm highlighting. When you do all the contour work in your face, you already apply shadow into your face and make everything look darker. It's always easier to work on a light canvas and make it darker than use a darker canvas and make it lighter. This is the reason why I use a lighter shade. I am applying the foundation with a brush first on my clean face. Remember always to have a clean face. And then we're gonna move on with a beauty sponge. This just helps to blend everything more seamlessly, and I just prefer the finish it gives personally. Now, since this foundation is so full coverage, I use it as a concealer, and not because we need to use a concealer, but because I want to create a uniform canvas to work on. And we're gonna set everything with translucent powder. Remember to apply your powder with patting motions to set first, and then you can drag the product in to blend everything. But first, you pat the powder and set your cream products, creating a perfect canvas to work on. Now moving on to one of the most important steps of a stage makeup, which is your eyebrows. Please, I cannot address this enough. Pay attention to your eyebrows. You're gonna need them to express any emotion on stage. Remember, they don't only frame your eyes, they frame your whole face. So emphasize them and make them as thick as you can. I like to use shadow products for the brow, and I activate them with a little bit of distilled water. As you saw me before, I used a lighter shade towards the center of my face, and now I'm using a little bit of a darker shade from the arch to the tail, creating a little bit of an ombre effect. Not as much because it's not going to be noticeable, but still we don't want to make that part, that center part, that intense. We do want to make them defined and create a beautiful frame, but we don't want to make our features look too rough. So pay attention to that, and make sure you use the darker pigment towards the outside, towards the tail. Now with the same eyeshadow base, we're gonna clean a little bit the brow bone area. We use it for two purposes. So first, we clean the eyebrow work we just made, and now we are gonna use it as a base to apply a pearly pigment and make it a little bit more intense. I'm using a pink pearl pigment. Remember, when we use texture, we draw more attention to that area of our face because it actually reflects more light. Now we're gonna apply some fake eyelashes, and for this particular look I chose ones that weren't too thick and too dense, because we want to actually portray that beautiful eyeshadow work we made and those beautiful colors. So even though they're not thick and they're not dense, they are long and big. Now let's start working on the lower lash line and the lower lid. I'm gonna show you a very easy way to do your makeup on the lower lash line without making it too technical. Basically, you're gonna take an eye pencil. In this case, I chose red, and you're gonna cover your lash line very well in the waterline, in between your lashes, and in the lower lash line. And you can extend it also right below that wing. And then with that dense blending brush that I showed you before. Of course, you clean it and you're gonna take a red eyeshadow, a reddish eyeshadow, and you're gonna set that pencil with it. Also using it to blending everything together and creating intensity in the lower lash line like you see now. And you can also use a darker color on the outer edge to create a little bit more depth, more dimension. Now you take that gel eyeliner again and you use it to just intensify and retouch, give it the finished touches and make it a little bit more precise. Extend that wing and then connect it to the lower lash line. You can then do some final retouches on the eyeliner. Remember to clean that glue from the fake lashes. And then remember, we need to set everything again with black eyeshadow. That's also gonna help us blend everything. Then we can also take that red as far as we feel comfortable with, as far as we like, as far as we feel like it. Remember, we are just defining and intensifying our lower lash line. And this is the finished look, you guys. You can add a little bit of glitter if you want. And you are welcome also to check on my previous video where I explain how to contour, bronze, blush, and highlight, and also the lips. Thank you for being with me, my stars. Bye bye. Take care. Hope to see you the next time.